right hand corner of the map, we do start out with our Blue Protoss player from Storm Gaming. This is MaxPax. Game 1 of our series. Because in the bottom left, our red Terran player. This is going to be GuMiho. Alright, game 1 of this series, game 1 of this best of 5 in the round of 12. These players, we couldn't get them playing on Friday. One of them was unable to play Friday, which is absolutely fine. They told us about this well in advance, so this is why this round of 12 match. Usually we don't have any round of 12 matches. Usually we have just round of 8 at the very least today, but it just happened that today, this way around, just worked out that we will indeed have one round of 12 match, which like I say is fine. There's, yo, what's up, ETS Harry? Thank you so much for the 16-month resub on the Prime. Wait, you're still subbed? I know, unbelievable. Subscribing to WardiTV in 2023, what are you on, mate? Thanks so much for the 16-month resub on the Prime, I appreciate it. Alrighty then, guys, getting set up early and a little bit of a look to see just what's going to be going on. Yo, Dark1157 as well, coming in with the Prime sub. All the subs to start the day, apparently. Thank you so much for your generosity, guys. There's Gamba. Okay, hang on then. Give me 1 sec. The frames will drop for just a moment here. And you guys can gamble. And all the rest of it. Don't forget, if you're a subscriber, you naturally generate more Wardy points, so you can gamble even harder. That means there's literally a perfect reason to subscribe to the stream. Never mind all the other benefits and support in StarCraft. More points to gamble with. If that doesn't sell you on it, I don't know what would. Real talk though, next is Cybercore all coming through. It is a low ground gateway, which always suggests that possibility of maybe we do make a first unit here from MaxPax. In this case, he will not. Do I like that? Do I hate that? I'm kind of fine with it, you know? I'm kind of fine with it because it is a long map, and even if he doesn't make a unit, it is still, you know, a setup where now he's walled off against, you know, against a potential Hellion run by early, for example, so that straight away is something we can look at pretty positively, for example, so I don't hate it. Like, there's certain pushes early which might be very good against this. We do see Marauder on the way from GuMiho. We'll see how far that goes. We do nab ourselves a probe kill as well with the Reaper, so always nice to nab a probe. That's always never a guarantee, but always lovely to get if we can do so. Reaper will drop another grenade down. Probe's still getting bopped about a little bit. The Adept coming over is going to jump on top of that Reaper. Reaper taking another shot there. Marauder now working its way through this Adept. So Adept still taking some damage. Is going to end up shading away. Starport going down in the main base. Getting that set up as our Marauder still continues on through for the moment. So just bringing this out. Again, Twilight Council, the Gateway, the Probes, Warp Gate, all of this being brought through as well. So just a little bit of everything on the way right now. As again, our early stages just kind of develop through without anything too crazy. Like I say, that one Marauder, or two Marauders, but we don't even get concussive shells. I guess that is kind of crazy, but it's not going to do much. So yeah, interesting start, I guess, from GuMiho at the very least. As we have ourselves the starport about to be done. Extra barracks coming online as well. There's a barracks coming into the main base. There's going to be 3 racks in total for us here. That blink still coming through, the couple extra probes, and the gate coming out. It's going to be seen our medevac is about halfway through as well. And we're building another Marauder again. I'm so intrigued what all these Marauders are for. I guess, I mean, if this is in fact Stalkers, which it is, I guess you're just in a very good spot because you have so many Marauders just built blindly in the game. Do you guys reckon this is truly just a setup from GuMiho that just sort of says, hey, look, I know you love your Stalker play MaxPax. I'm going to, play kind of blind Marauders early. They're not super good economically because they do cost 100 minerals a pop and 25 gas. So they're very expensive units to make early. But in this scenario, when MaxPax goes blink, he adds some 2 more gates. He's going to have so many Marauders prepared. Actually, I'm not sure if MaxPax is going to be able to see success in this game. It's actually going to be a pretty interesting question, isn't it? Now Adept shades into the main base where Stalkers, the SCVs get a little bit of a surround just to stop that dead in its tracks. That medevac still lingering on the right-hand side. And we still have ourselves Stimpack, Combat Shield, all the way up from GuMiho. He ain't on that kind of fully set up defense just yet, but he is definitely on his way. 4 Marauders before the first Stalker pressure even arrives. Like I say, it's kind of just unheard of, man. Here's a Wouldn't Mind drop, timed as well to kind of hit when MaxPax wants to pay attention elsewhere. You just get the 1 probe here, going to lift that back into the medevac as well. The Reaper is checking out the main base, but not finding much of anything. As we're going to actually be able to get a Stalker kill here. Stalker has Blink, so it's actually not a bad idea of kind of retargeting the mine to keep the probes away for a bit longer. In the end, I actually think there was 1 probe you could have committed the Wouldn't Mind shot onto, which would have been a bit better than hitting the Stalkers, which have to just blink out the way, and then they're safe anyway. Medevac is still around mine, so that is still potentially a little bit of annoyance and nuisance that could come into play. As a few Stalkers go blinking forward, a couple of SCVs already beginning to go down. So 3, 4, 5 workers already dropping off here, the rest of our Bioforce stemming through. And that Prism's still up around on the south side of the map. Just for the moment. So yeah, Prism's staying annoying. Prism's still looking for opportunities. That's what MaxPax is so good at, right? Being able to get a few SCVs, being able to keep that Prism active, being able to go just throughout, more or less. Still have that 1 Widow Mine as well in the medevac. It's going to come into the back of the natural expansion during this as well. We're going to burrow that up. MaxPax is busy defending. He pulls too late. That's going to make things worse. 10 probes going down. GuMiho strikes. And he knocks down 10. Wow. That is a beautiful bull from GuMiho getting the 10 workers. That is absolutely painful as MaxPax. Well, he wasn't looking right. He was busy at the front. He was absolutely just watching him, you know, the Stalkers. He's paying attention elsewhere. And as he's paying attention elsewhere, GuMiho finds the opportunity to get in there, to punish. And like I say, now should be able to take a bit of a lead off of this, right? Should be able to feel pretty good about the situation. I feel like we should be absolutely fine with that, in fact, as the Widow Mine shot going to grab. These Bio-Units are maybe a bit heavily stimmed. My only complaint maybe takes away some of the longevity they would have in this fight, or their ability to trade, as we do see Super Battery pops up immediately. A couple of Zealots are running out of Super Battery range, so we can get some kills on those. The Sentry goes down as well. Now that the Marauder count against these Stalkers is going to be showing. A couple more Zealots in the front. They're so sad because they have no charge. They just cannot get forward soon enough. And this looks as though we are going to have GG's. GuMiho overwhelming MaxPax in game at number 1, wasting 0 time at all. Just getting straight down to business. And that is going to be GuMiho picking up the first game of this best of 5. And is down a game in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood. We're going to be having our red Protoss player from Storm Gaming. This is MaxPax. In the top right corner of the map, our blue Terran player, we've got ourselves GuMiho. Royal Blood, Royal Blood, Royal Blood. This is going to be map number 2 here. This is GuMiho's map pick out of the 5 maps that were available. I'll just say that's fairly worth noting, right? To kind of roughly know what map each player chose to be on. MaxPax loses out on his own map pick, but that was also GuMiho's server preference, so you know, it goes one way and the other. Anyway, the simulator all coming up. Racks and the gas coming through from Gumi. A lot of preparation in the first minute or two. And I do, like I said, I wonder if MaxPax... A, I wonder if GuMiho continues to build, like, heavy Marauders early. And B, then I wonder what else MaxPax does. The only thing I will say is that MaxPax, while we do know he loves his Blink and his 4-gate Blink, etc., he is also fairly fond of playing into the Phoenix, right? So, it's not impossible for him to play Phoenix. He does have another alternate style to utilize here, so keep that in mind as well, that we're not necessarily just locked into waiting for these Blink Stalks to arrive. And yes, he does it a lot. It's not the only thing you can do, most notably is what I'm trying to say, so yeah. I'm excited to see if he does come up with something or play Stargate. And again, whether GuMiho is going to kind of follow in his footsteps from that last game. I wonder if GuMiho says, hey, well, you know, Marauders might not shoot up, but I kind of like them anyway against the, you know, a Stargate opener. And it might just be okay for him to do it anyways, so the questions will be answered as soon as the Reaper gets finished. It's a Marine initially. Reaper chases, Reaper gets the probe kill. Gonna nap that straight away here and just gonna be seeing our factory coming online still from GuMiho to bring that factory up and running. Another refinery coming in, CC still producing for the moment. Hey, what's up, Fish1? Thank you so much. Fishing into the stream today. 14-month resub. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. There's a couple of Marines. We'll deal with his early Zealots. And there is the switch up from MaxPax. He's going to go Stargate, but obviously GuMiho is not playing the Marauders anyway, so GuMiho, second rack's on the way after a factory. Gives you a good amount of bio to play with against the Stargate opener. I don't know, I just feel like these openings are working out very nicely for GuMiho. I feel like they're putting him kind of where he wants to be. They're giving him the positions he wants to play out from. Just feels like things are going well at the moment here for GuMiho. See if he can keep it up as we have our Stalker and our Zealot poking away there. SCV will go down. Obviously, this wall office proved to be a little bit difficult to get up, but that's what the Widowmine is great at. This Widowmine absolutely guarantees that this wall will be protected. At least you get a unit. Of course, if you give up a unit, then you obviously can still keep on pushing here as MaxPax, so that will be GuMiho having to take a few more moments. Now, the depot is going to go down. The SCVs will not be there in time, so that is a dead depot. That is an opening. Let's see if this Adept Stalker will be able to truly find much at all here, or if there's maybe not going to be quite the opportunity they were hoping for. Looks like we're not going to get too much done. We're going to just back it away and settle down. Phoenix on the way out, so it was just straight into this Phoenix first as well. First one's already up. Like I say, I think that makes a lot of sense. The other stuff that MaxPax likes to play, it's the other kind of setup we typically expect to see in these games as well, so I don't think there's anything wrong with a move into Phoenix. So it's very much so kind of what we expect in this day and age of PvT, if it isn't going to be the Blink. Yeah, like I said, GuMiho just picking the right builds, not playing Marauders this time is the right choice against this now Phoenix style. As our Marines gather up in the main base, extra Marines are producing, the siege tank on the way, stim packs halfway through. Phoenix is still gathering over on the left. They're going to intercept the medevac. Going to catch 1 and 2 Widow Mines. They'll just guarantee that both these go down. Can we chase that medevac? We try and get the jump start on it. It will have a boost as we get the probe going to the third base. That's actually a nice catch from GuMiho. Slows down MaxPax there. Medevac took a turn away, by the way, so the medevac survives. It's still out on the map, but at least it is alive, right? This is very realistically a medevac that could have been taken down by now. And as the Phoenix move in for another SCV, and they come around the back of this main base, they'll continue to go SCV hunting, really trying to see what they can find, really trying to see what they can do over these next few minutes of this game. Another couple of SCVs getting picked off. Because we do have our Robo Bay coming up. So just getting warped in the front, Sentry chilling out over there as well. Phoenix continue to get some grabs. Now trying to get that medevac. The Marines come across, pushing the Phoenix away, and again we continue this little bit of back and forth affair for the moment. Army of GuMiho continues into the center, continues to aim down to the south. Scary push with the SCVs pulled as well is obviously very serious. A lot of your army right now is Phoenix. We drop a single force field to keep the Marines back a little bit. Our first bunkers will come down. MaxPax's Colossus is on the way, but it just ain't ready yet, so is it justifiable to go attacking into this? Probably not. We'll probably at least have to wait for the Colossus. And meanwhile, we've got Phoenix already into the middle of the map too. First bunker gets cancelled. Has to rebuild as we lose a pylon down on the third base. The Phoenix have not found any reinforcements because, well, GuMiho's been extremely patient bringing those across the map, but that's actually a benefit, of course, to MaxPax because now it means he actually has a chance to, you know, break out of this before reinforcements get here. This is kind of the timing. Now is the time to go because if he doesn't go now, he's not going to break through before, like I say, reinforcements are here. The Phoenix will lift both of these tanks up. There's not the Marine DPS to knock these Phoenix down quickly. Finally, one Phoenix falls. We're going to see the tank lifted up again immediately, though, and this is going to be a cleanup on everything. Now, again, did GuMiho's reinforcements show up in any amount of time to help? I don't think they did. I think those reinforcements are going to be kept away, and that is MaxPax breaking out of this little contain. Third Nexus still alive as well. And again, it was just beautifully timed just before the reinforcements of GuMiho came to join up and just change the way of things. Yeah, that was very, very nicely timed. Well, now we even jump on this next wave of the army. These couple tanks up in the skies are not going to do much at all. That's GG's. And MaxPax is going to take game 1. Sorry, his first game of the series. Game 2 of the series is. But game 1. Yeah, this is our second seasonal championship of the year. Obviously, we had the Winter Championship earlier this year already. Summer season begins this coming week. So actually, we're already going to start having some events for the summer season. And that obviously builds into the Summer Championship, which will happen later in August and early September. Very fun. Very, very fun. On the right-hand side, our red Protoss player from Systorm Gaming is MaxPax. While in the upper left, the blue Darren player is GuMiho. Rolling Boy, thank you so much for the 4-month resub on the Prime. Yeah, so, again, just to reiterate, this is part of the WardiTV 2023 series. There's basically a tournament series throughout this year, a bunch of different events that build into each other. This is basically the celebration of our spring season. And we had a bunch of events that build up points. That's how players get to play in this spring championship. And again, it all starts again for the summer season after this. And then we will also this year have the European League. And it all culminates in WardiTV 2023, which is our end-of-year championship. Currently guaranteed $10,000 prize pool for WardiTV 2023. But that does have the possibility to go higher. So keep your eyes out for that. And again, that will be coming later this year, probably around December time. Yo, Brownson, thank you so much for the Prime sub as well. Appreciate it. Of course, if you guys do enjoy the tournaments, you do enjoy this casting, you do enjoy the streams, do consider subscribing. If you've got a Prime or a few dollars, it goes a long way. We do take over $1 of each and every subscription and put it into tournament prize pools just like this one. So with your guys' help, we can keep on making these tournaments, we can keep on running these games, you guys keep seeing more StarCraft, you can support more, and we just continue the ever wonderful cycle of StarCraft 2 here on WardiTV. So thank you so much for the Primes, appreciate it guys. As we have ourselves the little bit of build up as the gateway of this game goes into the wall off against the Reaper. Obviously just seeing MaxPax kind of change up his gate position a few times over, map to map, from a low ground to a high ground and all the rest. Reaper shows up from GuMiho. He's been playing factory second racks kind of a lot, right? Right now a factory coming up though, and I feel like we might head into our starport here this time around nice and speedily. Bunk coming up as well, guaranteeing some safety on the low ground. And we are going to see that Twilight Council attempt again here from MaxPax. So Twilight Council to get set up. As we get that about halfway done at the moment. So yeah, Twilight's about halfway through. Again, our tech choice from MaxPax means that he can potentially be very aggressive. We know this. We've seen it before. We've seen it many a time where MaxPax just turns on the aggression and he doesn't stop with those Blink Stalkers, with all of those gateways. That's absolutely something MaxPax has done in the past and will probably do again. Comes up to the low ground. Just having a little bit of a kerfuffle with the Reaper in the bunk. A couple SCVs coming out, and this Reaper is going to get into the bunker. The Adept shades away as well. That is going to be a good little getaway for our Adept. Obviously nothing really gained, but nothing really lost either. So it's absolutely fine to play like that. Raven choice from GuMiho, obviously absolutely fine. We know the Raven has so much utility in this matchup. There's really no surprise at all to seeing that coming down here, so we get the Raven up into play. Help Marine still continuing through as well, so again, just lots of little bits and pieces coming out at the moment. As you see, our barracks is about halfway done from GuMiho. A couple extra depots coming up too. All this just still being brought up into play. Adept just chilling out in the center of the map. Again, Blink is about halfway done. Prism's on the way now. And that started a couple of Marines. Chill and nibble at the low ground structure there. That structure there to stop you kind of getting fully walled in or anything into your base. It's been there for a long time. In StarCraft 2, there's definitely some StarCraft history behind that. Not time to go in depth on that right now, but TLDR is good to get rid of it because then you don't misclick during a defense, for example. And usually a defensive misclick is much more punishing than an offensive misclick. Not always true, but it's pretty much the reason why you always want to clean those little rocks out yourself, because again, it's just more natural that you're perhaps going to misclick that. It's going to cost you the game. That is your opponent who's attacking going to misclick that position. So, good to get rid of that. That's why GuMiho kills it. Otherwise, Stimpack and +1 start, and again, we just sit here. No initial push out with the Raven. He does have a second tank about to pop, but just at this stage, I don't feel like we go anywhere until we have ourselves the upgrades finished, or at least close to being finished, which probably means Siege Tank number 3 if we continue production, and then perhaps we see a bit of a push from GuMiho. Of course, he is playing the defensive position right now as well against these Blink Stalkers, which do blink in. They get a Siege Tank at the cost of a few Stalkers initially. We lose ourselves actually just the one, now a second. Not bad then. I mean, two Stalkers is very affordable to trade out in that scenario, so I don't think we can be too upset about this. I think we're absolutely fine with how that goes. And of course, 4 Stalkers warping in a time. MaxPax continuing with the 4-gate blink. Again, this was definitely an expectation throughout this series. Every time MaxPax is playing PvT, we know he's going to be playing some amount of blink play. And this is, of course, going to be no exception to that ruling. The SCVs begin to go down. 2 SCVs already dropping. The tank going to get a couple of shots off. Stalker's still taking hits. Going to blink down to the low ground. Past those gold minerals now. Four SCVs going down. Make it 5. Stalker's going to find one more worker kill. That's going to be 6 workers killed. So actually a lot of damage again being done. These Stalkers are persistent. They're, you know, always there. They're always looking for those openings, and that's what's so good about them. They are always trying to find just anything that might be available. Really trying to maximize their usage, really trying to maximize their effects. And that's why MaxPax can play this 4-gate blink so much more than other players, because he is just so good at finding the little pieces that he needs to just ease him into the transition, ease him into that next stage of the game. A lot of the other players can't quite find these little bits of damage. They can't find the extra bit. They can't be as consistent as he is. That's why 4-gate blink for most players is maybe once in a series. For MaxPax, it's the baseline of his PvT. That doesn't mean that MaxPax hasn't had his weaknesses as well, because there's definitely plays who kind of figured out MaxPax's 4-gate blink and figured out his tricks and got very good at defending it, and suddenly MaxPax kind of drops off in the matchup a bit, only to kind of come back, even with just the same things, just kind of rehashed a little bit. Like, Stalker position is a bit different. The timing of the Prism making the move is slightly different as well. These things that people have learned against him kind of get reset. And it's almost like the cycle of MaxPax, whereas PvT goes from looking to be, you know, some absolutely terrifying stuff to people kind of figure it out to the same thing, then becomes extremely scary again. It's kind of a funny occurrence. We do see our Zealots dropping into this natural expansion. Prism into the main base. 4 Zealots warp in here immediately. Marauder leading the charge through. Our CVs pull into it. Bioforce pushing down at the right-hand side as our Prism loads up once again and just about escapes into the natural. But there is a missile turret there, so GuMiho kind of hectically pushing across the map. Still has a full energy Raven to put to use in the near future. Chooses to do so. Obviously, that is expected to be a pretty high-value unit. Stalkers kind of chilling out over here. The Zealots, the Immortal, joined up as well. Extended Thermal Land still building up from MaxPax, so we're a long way off the Colossus being super useful, but there we go. He charges forward. It's an interference matrix on the Immortal. I kind of thought we might see an anti-armor missile, but that's not going to be the case at all. As we push on through, Super Battery goes down. This Nexus will now start to take a bit of a beating as well. And MaxPax, well, he's got his Colossus showing up, but he still has 2 tanks to fight against. And there's not really enough buffer for this one Colossus here. There's no Super Battery nearby that could keep it alive while it trades. As Nexus is going down, I think MaxPax is going down here in Game 3 of our opening best of 5. Marauder stem 4, the Colossus will be caught, it will fall. This result still trying to come through and just jump on top of this, but they are going to have full cleanup. GG's, says MaxPax. GuMiho takes it, and it is a 2-1 advantage for GuMiho here in the first round of the playoffs for him. Good, it's been solid, it's been strong. He's so creative as well. He's so tricky to play against because of all these different openings that he can do. And if you misread one of them, even if he's not being aggressive, then boom, his big aggression next, you know, his next stop of aggression is also going to hit you hard and make your life real difficult. So, you know, just in general, GuMiho is a tough one to beat in this matchup at the moment. In the bottom right, trying to do it, trying to get that. Maybe our Red Pros play from Sidestone Gaming, MaxPax. Top left, the blue Terran player. This is GuMiho. Proby. Off to scout around a little bit for the moment. No scout from GuMiho, so he's just going to play it blind in these early stages. He's not going to send a worker out to try and confirm or figure out exactly what's going on or anything, right? He's just going to be happy to sort of sit back and let the game play for a little bit, take the risk of not knowing what's happening with the idea that he's going to be fairly comfortable whatever comes through anyway, I guess. Obviously, if you're going to do a build that is pretty much kind of catch-all, then you can kind of get away with this stuff, no worries. It's not the biggest of deals. As Probe does have to turn back around there. And Cybercore coming up over on the edge. And again, our factory is about halfway done for the moment, so bringing all this through. GuMiho not expanding straight away, so slower expand from him keeps him a little bit safer in case MaxPax decided to turn the pressure dial up a little bit. So GuMiho just making sure he's safe, making sure he's being a little bit cautious. Nothing wrong with that. That is absolutely fine. As our Reaper moves through, begins to ping away at this pylon. Factory going to be followed by a starport, and there is the CC in base as well. It's still very safe here from GuMiho, but do remember that a safe GuMiho is also currently playing against Stargate opener, so he's playing against a fairly safe and conservative opening of MaxPax. In that case, GuMiho didn't obviously necessarily need to be this safe, and I'm not sure GuMiho's going to find a timing or anything to suddenly be like, aha, now I push onto the map, now I'm going to see a whole bunch of success or anything along those lines, so guess we'll see as our Adept pings its way through the initial supply depot here. One of mine is going to unburrow, reburrow. Adept still trying to cause a little bit of trouble where possible. And again, just finding out information too, trying to see what units are there. Seeing the Widow Mine, if you see a second one, it just tells you what has been built and also then what has not been built. The Marines load up, our medevac begins to move out. Robo facility already starting on the side from MaxPax, so getting that going. And obviously just looks as though we're going to play straight in towards Phoenix Colossus, which I think is, yeah, not surprising for anybody. I think everyone's kind of looking at this thinking, yeah, sure, absolutely. That's kind of what we were kind of expecting. Sometimes you can play Phoenix Charge, right? That is a possibility, but it's just not something in MaxPax set up for here, especially on Babylon. Babylon's a hard map to make the charge lots work, especially because it's a little bit more choked up. It's going to be tougher for them to find that kind of open areas to trade in. I think Phoenix Colossus is just safe enough for a map like this, which is a little bit shorter as well, so the initial drop gets a couple of probes. Wouldn't say that was too fantastic. We're going to lose absolutely everything as GuMiho. 3 Marines. The Widow Mine will go down. The medevac falls. There's one final Marine that's playing run around and just going to be, making itself difficult to kill, but it will go down. And that is going to be the end of this attack. So everything falls. We get a couple probe kills, but I wouldn't say this was too disruptive even from GuMiho. MaxPax continued mining throughout it, and Phoenix with the Immortal, just needs to start up the Robo Bay now, right? Is kind of the next step. Don't forget to go there because, well, the Robo Bay is usually a pretty important part of your game plan when you're playing Phoenix Colossus. There it is coming through, so that's one thing this attack did get. It did slow down the Robo Bay timing, I think, a little bit, because there's usually I just usually got the Robo Bay first, then the Immortal. This time the Immortal started sooner, so yeah, things just a little bit off, I guess. Just a little. We're handling it though, as MaxPax backs away. The couple of SCVs dropping, so the Phoenix getting some damage done. Of course, they expect to keep up the pressure throughout this first game, right? Keep up the pressure, keep on trying to deal damage, keep on trying to make GuMiho's life as difficult as possible. Barracks lifts off, it's going to go relocating. You see this Phoenix still nibbling away at the Raven. Obviously get rid of the Raven, and that is great because then it's not going to be annoying anymore. Already this Raven was kind of lingering around and just dropping auto turrets and trying to find damage, causing lost mining time, etc. You get 3 probes in the end, but the Raven, like I said, now gone, is no longer going to be a factor, so that is a positive at least that you can latch onto here as MaxPax. There's our turrets there. Phoenix is going to go and get pushed away once more. Back into the main base. You still see a Colossus coming through. The extended thermal lance is getting started. Still playing into Stim Combat +1. Once GuMiho has his upgrades, I'm sure we'll see a much more aggressive approach from him on this map. A much better idea as to just what he wants to do. Liftoff is good. We knocked down the initial Cyclone here. MaxPax, I mean, look at resources lost, actually. It's kind of a telling tale. 1,300 to 300. That's a dream picture if you're a Phoenix player. The Phoenix have been very effective. They've been able to trade out really well. They have found just so much value around the map. That is when you stay in rhythm. That's when you kind of get your transitions up nicely. And that's when it's going to be very difficult for your opponent to push and punish you during this game. And that's, of course, exactly what you're kind of looking for then is MaxPax. This entire setup is kind of a dream to him for the moment. It's exactly what he's been looking for. Now he's off and away with it. Perhaps the Observer, though, GuMiho, is going to make it difficult for MaxPax to see where this army is headed. If GuMiho can get across the map, I like a lot of what's on the way for MaxPax. I like a lot of what's coming up. GuMiho still has a little bit of a surge in army supply here with upgrades completed as well. If there is a timing for GuMiho, it's very likely going to be in the next minute or so. Otherwise, we're going to end up playing a much longer game, which will be difficult because right now the third CC is being halted by a couple of counter-attacking adepts. And MaxPax just doing well in general around the map to slow that down. First force field here, yeah, slows us a little bit. There are a lot of Widow Mines. You're going to have to be careful of those. We lose the siege tank, however, so now the Phoenix don't have to dive onto that tank as much as they might have initially wanted to. The Colossus and 2 adepts over here. I feel like that is a missed rally or something. That is... I'm almost certain that's not what was meant to show up on that side of the map. As you see, these Widow Mines being a little bit active, but now they're getting cleaned out as well, and I don't think GuMiho will push through. But hey, you got a Colossus defensively, as weird as that is to say, and as he backs away, he is going to continue to work on his third CC, getting that up and online, and definitely seeing the importance in having access to that third base, because we are 8.5 minutes in the game. Your main begins to mine out shortly. You know, just generally is the point in the game where you expect to have more workers anyways, so get those 2 bases saturated. That's where GuMiho is heading to. Gonna keep on taking it in that direction. Is this one Marauder, man? This Marauder's been a champ. He's just been sat here, just kind of picking away at bits and pieces, defending this base all on his lonesome. With the support of a couple of medevacs, sure, but a godlike Marauder. It's gonna be seeing our Colossi, the Immortal, etc. all coming up here. Just gonna be seeing our Force of the Terran kind of just sat waiting as well, waiting to see what he can maybe get up to. Couple of Marines coming through. The Phoenix going to take a few shots. The charge is still on the way. And charge is about to be done. +1's are halfway through. The High Templar is still building. The army of GuMiho. And right down to the south, you're going to grab one Zealot straight away. We're going to stim in toward this Nexus. Space will fall instantly. Colossi shot's going to get rid of the Marauder there. Widow Mine shot goes off toward a Zealot. A couple of Zealots continue to stay in business. So thank you so much to the Gyron for the resub, as well as I am Raziel. Thank you both for the resubs. Welcome back. Let's support the channel as GuMiho. Couple of units up at the top side, just kind of left in the dust. Don't think that's necessarily too concerned or anything, though. Big drop in the main base is where MaxPax has to stay on top of things. His army's going to start recalling. Dangerous recall potential. Jump on the Colossi. That's one Colossus that could have been targeted instantly if GuMiho just stood there. He decided not to. He honestly played it a little bit safer. And that was maybe a lost opportunity. I wouldn't say it was necessarily a horrendously, large lost opportunity, but notable, I suppose, is Zealot Archon Colossus back over the left. Phoenix staying on down to the south. The cannon's still coming up. The Nexus is still producing. The Archon halfway through as well. +2 attack upgrade. Continues to be built right now. Bunch more Zealots. Gonna warp in. They're going to get down to business as a Ghosty already going to get taken down. So already finding some good damage there. Now the main push up the left-hand side. Prism will be lost, so GuMiho will be able to clean up and end the attack in the main. But how is he looking defensively against the rest of this army? Knocks down those rocks, so you have to push into this base. Not sure MaxPax is super upset about having to push into this base. This honestly seems kind of fine for him. At force fields, he's going to control the ramp then, but he is kind of missing, again, just maybe a little bit of the support that you're used to seeing. I just expected there to be a little bit more there, I suppose. As we have SCVs pulling in, though, and I don't think this is really going to be a defense from GuMiho. The Colossi will get down to business. The Archons are putting some work, and again, I don't know if there was really an army to stand and fight as MaxPax, and even still, maybe not 100% sure about standing and fighting, but with the SCVs pulled, GuMiho obviously felt like he had to do something, and he loses 34 of them. Disruptor shot going to land on the Ghosts. Okay, well, that is just going to seal the deal. We're going to go to all 5 maps to start off this series, and just to start off this day of our... And here we go. In the top left-hand corner, we're going to start with the red Terran player. This is GuMiho. He's fighting against the blue Protoss in the bottom right. Getting it all tied up. But has never led in this series. Has always been trailing or equalizing. It is MaxPax. Well, this would be a fantastic time to take the lead. Just when it matters the most, when it's the final lead you can take. So, let's see if you can capitalize here. As we head into, again, game number 5. See what trouble these two are going to get up to. GuMiho's been pretty fun with his builds, right? Kind of keeping it mixed up, keeping it a little bit different in general, so with that in mind, I'm intrigued to see again what he brings to the table here over the next little bit. See what kind of madness he has planned for Gresvan at Game 5 on a map that can be so fun macro-wise. It can definitely be one of those ones that goes very long, that becomes a lot of poking around with larger armies and positioning and rotating and dropping to try and pull out a position. Possibilities, but we have to get to that stage first, and of course, a player like MaxPax, a player like GuMiho as well, both players that don't necessarily let their opponents get to that stage of the game easily, at the very least, that's for sure. They definitely try and contest it as much as possible. Mancubus, thank you so much. The 15-month resub on the Prime. May the Prime be with you. Thank you so much for the Prime. Welcome back. Thanks for supporting the channel today. Really do appreciate it. The Cybercore is going to be finishing soon. We'll see MaxPax getting established with that. Going up at the front. Again, the factory coming through. The Reaper still poking around the left-hand side. Our Nexus is halfway done. The Warp Gate will begin. CC comes in, of course, a little bit later on after the factory, so just making sure, again, you're very safe. You're not going to give MaxPax too many initial openings or anything, I think is one of the main kind of takeaways of that. Just making sure there's not going to be too many aggressive options by expanding early, and then your opponent can, like I say, take advantage or so. So just keep it on top of that as best we can. Ruffalopolis, thank you as well for the 8-month resub. Welcome back. Thank you also for thank you for also subscribing. Lots of resubs today, guys. Thank you so much. As Salad and Stalker. We'll poke at the front then. With again, the fact this is a pretty conservative opening from GuMiho, he should face no issues here. If he starts taking damage right now, beyond anything kind of, beyond having to pull back with his units and micro a little bit, yeah, that's bad. Obviously, the extra Reaper Hellion shows up. Now we get rid of a Stalker and a Zealot so far, pretty nicely in this game. We are going to have just one Reaper loss. That leaves us with 2 Reapers, 2 Hellions. Still potential then to maybe do something with those. They'll begin to move across the map and at least test the waters of what MaxPax's defense looks like. There's a battery. There's only a few probes on that. I think we're going to be fine. Even if these units wanted to try and dive in. Actually lose a Hellion? Yes, we lost one of the Hellions as well. Maybe the Reapers could do something jumping into the main base. Not sure what the defense looks like there. Only the Reapers are left. The Adepts have got rid of the Hellions. Now Phoenix left 1 Reaper and Just cuts the damage output in half, which means that one probe will go down, but with 2 Reapers, that would have been 2 probes, so the Phoenix lift, I would say, is already worthwhile. The Reaper does fall. Single probe, Zealot, and a Stalker for 2 Reapers, 2 Hellions. There's one final Reaper. Still on the natural, actually, so just trying to be a little bit more of a, of a nuisance just before we get all wrapped up. Cyclone continues to move on through. Just gonna see again a couple of Marines coming out. The Banshee is also being brought in. Cloaking starting for that Banshee. We haven't really seen Cloak Banshees throughout this series. Obviously, it is an option. It is something that definitely gives you some difficulty dealing with it a lot of the time as a Protoss, especially if you're not immediately prepared for it. If you're kind of defending against this on the fly, things can get a little bit messy, as now a Marine tank drop comes into the back of the main base of MaxPax, and GuMiho gets 6 probes early. I think he's going to kill a Phoenix, which means the siege tank gets dropped back down. We have to lift the tank a second time, but it's just eating up Phoenix energy as well. And this might be a cleanup on the tank and everything, but we even get 2 more probes at the end as we hit the probe line one more time with the siege tank getting re-sieged. Now these few Marines again just going to stay active and very narrowly getting the Phoenix before the battery saved the day. Obviously every Phoenix counts for so much at the moment, so it would be being a real shame just to lose that without really much else happening. With Cloak Banshees coming up, there are observers, but the question will always be, are the observers in the right places at the right times? Will they be prepped to deal with the Banshees here? If they are, then that could be a turning point for MaxPax, where GuMiho has invested into Banshees and then doesn't really get enough value out of them. That could, of course, absolutely be a problem, so we'll see. Cyclone Marines get there, and the Phoenix initially takes a few shots, taking some hits, and eventually turns back around and heads away. One Banshee still down to the bottom left corner. Raven behind this too, making sure we're going to have the utility. As MaxPax, you can see his economy, 43 workers each, is just struggling. No fast third from him either, as the Terran play already takes the 3rd CC. On location as well, so kind of as greedy and macro as possible from GuMiho. Good preemptive cloak on this Banshee. This just saved the kind of the preemptive defense from his opponent, right? If MaxPax had seen that Banshee, then he's already setting up observes in position, stalkers, probably pulling the Phoenix back as well. It looks as though he spotted in the end though, because now the Banshee actually retreated and had a chance to cloak up. That was not the same Banshee, but the idea is there's this Banshee flies through the 3rd. It's about to be out of energy, man. It's been flying for a long time. It's going to get to the main base where it finds not even a probe, I don't think, so this Banshee play is actually completely shut down. It's just what MaxPax needs. Bit of a rough start where he was definitely one kind of losing a few units and everything. Is now going to reset a little bit as you get rid of the Banshee tech completely. Very easily. I guess there's one more Banshee still on the map, right? Yeah, but single Banshee is unlikely to do damage, especially when the first didn't, and of course the longer you wait to deal damage, the less impactful it is anyway. A couple of those SCVs going down. You see Colossus coming up, an X is coming through. Thermal Lance coming in as well to provide MaxPax that range on the Colossi. Well, you know how that works. We've seen that all before. Uh-oh, what a mines. Gonna get some good splash damage. Multiple Phoenix going down. That Cyclone lock on reaches doesn't quite get the final connection. Yeah, I mean, this is what? Only 5 Phoenix left. It's not going to be, I mean, we're still building Phoenix, right? Which means that other tech is going to be slowed down. So it's all well and good, still having Phoenix, but you still got Phoenix because you've been building so many of them. So it definitely hurts a little bit. Big push from GuMiho coming through the center of this map. Scans up ahead, sees the couple Colossi, decides to turn away from those. Obviously, no Raven anymore is a big deal as well. That could have been massive for GuMiho with an interference Matrix. And I don't know if now he's going to feel the confidence to just go attacking on in. Next around that right-hand side. Still again, a couple of Vikings, a couple of Ghosts all coming out. The +1 armor from GuMiho. It's the only upgrade in the game right now. The +1 attack of GuMiho, in fact. Upgrades of MaxPax now starting on the forges, but that's a very recent thing. We move into position. A couple of tanks are going to decide to back away a little bit. Single force field on the ramp. We do still see our CSD coming through. The few Marauders are coming out. The armor upgrade. A couple of Vikings. Gonna grab our Observer with this little Bioforce. Mines in the mineral lines. We've seen MaxPax be sometimes slower to get to defending these, but this one's going to be absolutely spot on. One probe only going down as one hit the assimilator, so no kills there. That actually works out quite nicely defensively. GuMiho now 1-1 upgrade, starting up his +2, getting Ghosts on the way. He's just happy to keep on improving his armor. He's not afraid of playing the later game. He's going to be very happy to let this go here. I don't think MaxPax can complain though, because it wasn't exactly looking great for him initially. We see our 2-2 still coming up, +1 ship weapons coming in, the Vikings, Marines, and Marauders coming out. 4 probes haven't gone down. GuMiho, is there ever a point where he's too passive? I guess is a reasonable question. I think there is a world in which you can be too passive, of course. I mean, he had a pretty good setup. He is making use of it, right? He's gotten Ghosts, he's getting Liberators. Is he giving MaxPax a bit too much recovery time from what was, again, a very hopeful start? Good catch, immediately scans and removes this Observer, just saying, nope, you don't get an Observer. You don't get vision. You know, that ain't allowed. That ain't a thing. Still comes through, and a few of these SCVs begin to take some shots. Unbiased in general are going to start causing trouble as GuMiho's trying to take position. This way he has to be very careful because he still has to be very good defensively at home. Otherwise, he really can run into problems here. Those EMPs are decent. There's a super battery active to do some healing, though. So ideally, you want to wait a little bit. That disruptor shot's going to be short of anything meaningful. I apologize. Actually, he got a couple of Marauders on the edge, so he got a couple of kills. Obviously, that harassment otherwise still going on, though. The Bio continues to get a little bit more cleaned up here, and just seeing ourselves the Blink, the +2 attack, and the +1 armor all still producing. Initial EMP coming down. Vikings still trying to press through. A little bit of Biostimming forward again. Another EMP. Just hitting a few of these Stalkers already. EMP once more. Archon, Stalkers getting hit. That's a massive disruptor shot. GuMiho stepped forward. Didn't step back in time. Didn't split or anything. He just didn't believe that disruptor shot was going to hit at all. And that, my friends, is how this game is going to turn right back around. As MaxPax continues his pressure across the map. I still like GuMiho's army composition, but he is going to have to deal with a later game MaxPax here. MaxPax that also feels very comfortable in these sort of scenarios. Army of MaxPax still working around the bottom. GuMiho can get in position with these Liberators. Obviously, that could be terrifying. There's a lot of Libs. There's not a ton of anti-air. There is Blink, 9 Stalkers, 4 Phoenix. Libs are just so difficult to push into. Very expensive to push into, I should say. So, it's not something you want to do without being able to wipe them out quickly. So let's come through. Liberators are going to get sieged up there, so the defense should be looking okay for GuMiho, who is taking a fight. Big concave for him. Has to dodge the disruptors, though. He only loses 1 Marauder to this disruptor shot. Doesn't lose anything to the next. He has access to the natural expansion. Vikings zoning out the Colossi as well as GuMiho looks to keep MaxPax zoned out of this. Now we begin to push into this natural expansion. Zelts will continue to charge forward. The disruptors, the Colossi, and everything continue to come in as well. think we've got ourselves a well, reasonable fight from GuMiho, but it's not done yet. And he's got still a lot of Liberators actually reinforcing as well, as he's going to finish off this right side base. That's MaxPax reset down to 4 bases. GuMiho's also only on 4 bases though, so it's not like GuMiho takes a massive lead in terms of base count, just evening things out a little bit, which is generally fine for a Terran player. GuMiho currently has a lot of minerals to spend as well. Make sure you spend those, get maxed out ASAP, as these libs just a moment too late to unsiege. 17 dead probes. MaxPax still on 71 workers, however, so again, that worker kills, well, those worker kills are not really impacting him too negatively here. Liberator sieges up, a few of these stalkers get pushed away again. So army coming out, everything else just still setting up. Carrier overhead as we have just more and more probes going down. This is the one benefit GuMiho is getting right now. His damage dealt is pretty huge. However, carriers have arrived. And that makes things a whole lot more difficult for GuMiho. This is now a much more complicated army to engage on into, to fight against. Liberator shot, Disruptor gets a shot out, Bio has to dodge backward there. Our libs continue to sit, our libs continue to just zone positions. More carriers though, and do we have enough to fight these carriers? You have to split from the Disruptor shot. If we can stand and fight, I think the Interceptors for now might just melt. There is a single attack upgrade for these air units. The second one building, that's when it's really scary, the carriers, usually. I was going after this Nexus for a little bit. A couple of Disruptors that will not quite land. As that Bioforce continues through, the Nexus will be going down. Another base lost from MaxPax, and this one obviously disjoints him from his other base too. If GuMiho can continue to push into this position, he's eventually probably going to work his way towards and through that bottom left side base. MaxPax is just building up an air army. Tempest now on the way to join the carriers, so apparently that's what this is all about. An air army to try and save the day. GuMiho, are we lacking Vikings? Absolutely. I am a little bit scared. Only 3 Vikings in the game right now, just kind of believing in the power of the bio. The Marines will do a lot against the Intercepts, but I don't think they'll ever get in range of Tempest, so yeah, a little worried. Liberator is still doing a great job of zoning, however, and giving this a realistic opportunity compared to maybe what I originally thought it would be like. Tempest are chipping away through those bits and pieces, though. MaxPax is down to 2 bases. We did finish off the base down to the bottom left. Now, 4 Vikings building at a time, and I guess GuMiho just sits here and uses this chance to build up his reinforcement count, to build up those Viking numbers and get set into the next stage of this game. A couple more Tempest shots still firing. Liberator will go down, so that one's already going to drop. A couple of Marines still coming through too. They're going to get picked off as well. Now GuMiho backs away, but he's had MaxPax on 2 bases for a serious amount of time. I think MaxPax might just be on an all-in counterattack, which is not a terrible idea. Maybe try and go before GuMiho is properly set up against an Air Force. Probably one of the only chances he has. I think playing anything longer or more complex is just unrealistic to work. Marines still coming through. 3 probes going down. 4, 5, 6, 7. All these probes going down. Well, like I say, kind of felt like MaxPax was going to be all in across the map anyways. He actually pulled back with a little bit of his army to start dealing with this, which I'm genuinely surprised by, because I really felt like he was just going to click across the map and not stop. With 5 workers remaining, MaxPax has 1 single army. Try and break through a defensive GuMiho that's been improving his Viking count as well. I am not currently a believer, but let's wait and see as the Vikings do what they can. MaxPax with so few probes will actually be an issue as well, where he cannot rebuild Interceptors forever, so as long as GuMiho just stands and tanks some of this damage, like, the Interceptors going down are difficult to keep on replacing. They're not impossible to replace right now, but if this fight somehow drags on long enough, that is genuinely then going to be a problem. Not at that stage yet, though, as MaxPax pulls back around to the south side. 300 minerals left in the bank. Again, the 5 probes putting in whatever work they can. Don't miss that turret's over here. We'll take some shots. And MaxPax just not even going to give us the final fight, MaxPax. Come on, buddy. Give us the final fight, you know? GG's, and that is going to